How do you learn who you really are? It's not found in books. It's found on the battlefield. I hear you. I see you. Okay, I've got you. Danny Romero. Now I'm seeing the vibe. Now I get the energy. Now I know who I'm talking with. I'm recording now. I already like it.
My man.
All right. So it's an honor to have you on the battlefield of the mind. I also would love to spend some time with you in your world too. One thing I just heard, we were talking just a second ago before, I've got it recorded in one way, but I'm going to record like real audio here, is the way that things have changed in this world where people are realizing that stabbing each other in the back and being cutthroat about things is just not the way. And there's enough people that we don't have to go around trying to knock everyone down so that we can be greedy. So like, tell me a little bit more about how like the experiences are changing for you right now.
Yeah, so it was back in the day, it was very cutthroat, and it's still cutthroat. And we're talking of specifically about the radio industry as someone who has been trying to get into the industry for so long. Back then, I mean, people really didn't want to help. And now, because there's so many avenues for you to be able to make money and for you to get your content out there, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram Reels, that people are a little more helpful. People are a little more open. And I think people started realizing that there's money for everybody. Like, just because you help the next man doesn't mean you're going to lose out on some cash. You just help that man feed his family, right? And so once you start looking at life a little less selfishly, the amount of hands that can come in and help, you can't beat that. You can't beat what you can get out of that.
We're all getting stronger together too. I actually am really grateful to hear that from especially like cutthroat industries. Like, I can highly relate. Like in a lot of these industries right now, whenever I meet coaches, I meet authors, I meet people from all over the place. And whenever I'm meeting people who are just like you, who are like, I need to get started, I want to help people, I've got something to offer, it's really, really great. Well, we're no longer competing over a small local area. Like, it's global. Right. And like, if we're able to reach millions, that's a really big deal, but there are billions. So it's not like there's not enough to go around. It's more like, how do we reach more people when we all have something awesome to offer?
Well, and the more hands, the better, right? And it also lessens the opportunity to having to reinvent the wheel, because that takes up so much time of your life. Having to refigure out how to do something that's already been done. Why not get some help from the next person? And there's still business intact. There still has to be a conversation about business, because yes, you're not attacking the radio guy down the street and you're friendly. How's that going to help you in ratings, right? How's that going to help you increase revenue for your station? But I guess, cynically, it doesn't really matter, because so many of these corporate companies own several stations in every market. So they're just kind of like competing against themselves in a sense.
Yeah. Well, this gets to the very beginning of anything. Whenever I see someone like you, I'm getting an energy, and I want you to be able to tell me if it's right or wrong here. It's ironic, that you say, like, you've been blind since, what age did you go blind? Were you born blind?
I was 5. Yeah.
5 years old. So
I was born with cataracts. 5 years old is when I went fully blind.
I think it's so funny because, and I don't say funny for that, I mean ironic, because you are blind, but the way that you speak is like a visionary. You speak as a dreamer.
Thank you, man.
Like, you've got the vision, even if it's not a physical vision. I can just see the way that you talk is inspirationally visionary. I see the dream. I'll find the way to connect. Put me in the right sphere and I'll fly. Like, and I can see you've got that visionary aspect to yourself. I'd like to hear more about how, like, you're like, I had this dream and now here's how I'm going to make it a reality. I'm going to fight. I'm going to push through the obstacles. Some people are going to say this is not possible, but I'm going to do this. This is my dream. How did you get to this point where like, this is my dream and I don't care what the obstacles are, I'm fighting for it?
So the two things that I always go back to is um, never making yourself a victim, right? Because we all, even every person who has vision, can come up with a reason on why they don't want to do life today. Like you can, it could be the smallest little thing, and that'll be the deterrent for you to have to live life and go about your day. So, first of all, I think it starts off in the home. I had a very, very encouraging mom who didn't treat me differently. I went to regular school my whole life, never went to a blind school. Uh, and of course, those had their obstacles themselves, but I was still able to be treated like a normal, everyday kid. And I had friends and I participated in activities, and then also at home I got to ride scooters and fall and hurt myself and be a kid. And I think one of the biggest discussions that doesn't happen as often, that should, is in the blind community as well, is the focus on blind parents, because excuse me, parents of blind children, because without that freedom that my mom allowed me, without that independence that she allowed me, I wouldn't have been able to speak up for myself in the ways that I had to when I had to face obstacles. So when you grow up in a home where you're taught to be completely independent, you're trusted to be independent as well. That literally wakes you up every day with like, okay, I'm not a victim. Nothing happened to me. I can make it happen for myself. And then I also think like, what is the future of it? The future is to open doors. Yeah, I'm not the biggest advocate, like in the sense of I'm not going out here fighting battles of things that are against blind people or things that blind people have to deal with every day. But if you're interested in the radio industry, or if you're interested in podcasting, or if you're interested in making music, or if you're interested in connecting and you're blind, I can now help you. I can now assist and give you pointers on how to stand out, what to ask radio companies. So it's a definite piggy bank of knowledge there that I can now pass on because I was able to throw myself into it. So not making yourself a victim, because you can find every reason to do that, whether you're blind or not, and understanding the bigger picture. What does the future look like?
I love the way you talk, Danny. This is pretty great because there's a lot of things you're saying that I really enjoy. I also want to say I don't think that you said it incorrectly, but I feel like it's more correctly the way you said it. Is when you said blind parents, but I know you didn't mean it that way. You meant parents of blind kids. But I don't think you were wrong, because they can't see that their child still needs freedom and the ability to be a kid. They may not be able
To be a kid,
they
yes.
may not be able to see that they need freedom, not be more restricted, because we've seen psychology wise, we've seen the study. If you're told no way more than you're told yes. And so no becomes second nature. You can't do that. And if you're blind, how often do you think you can't do that? Well, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And how much is that drilled into you so that if you're going to start going for a dream, you have to go through like 10,000 plus you can't do that to even start to see
Before,
some goal.
and it shouldn't come from your family. That's the worst thing of it all. It's like your family has to be the outlet in order for you, because you're gonna experience the no's and the constant rejection in your everyday life. It should start at the family to put some energy into these kids and be like, you can speak up for yourself, and I believe you can speak up for yourself. I did a an event This is probably about 11 years ago, 10 years ago, but I had just come off of going to the biggest radio station in the country and being interviewed by the morning show that I grew up listening to. And they're based out of New York. And I had also just got done working the summer prior with or for a major Latin artist in his offices in New York. And I was asked, they wanted me to come and speak about my experience, traveling and doing these things, getting these opportunities. And so I did, and it was a room of teenage kids. They were age 13 to 18, and I got to speak to them, and all of them came up to me after the event, and all these blind kids had the same question: how can I get my mom to let me do the things that you're doing? How can I convince my parents to let me be independent? And that was hard for me to answer, because it's not like they can tell their parents what to do. But at the same time, my mom didn't know that she had to do that. That was just the personality she was, or she is. So it's hard.
That's a powerful question. And it really is down to one of those things where, like, how do I convince my parents to trust me to be myself?
Right.
Let me myself.
Absolutely.
Let me get goofed up. Let me learn some lessons the hard way. Let me go through some things. Let me see what it feels like to understand things in a way it's gonna be painful and it's gonna hurt. But it's gonna help me grow. It's gonna give me freedom. It's gonna allow me to let me crash once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm a realist when it comes to how I look at life and these scenarios from, I'm very big on the shoe on the other foot theory, right? And if I was a parent who had vision, and my whole life I never knew anyone who was blind, and here I am having to raise a human who has a disability I've never encountered in my life, I can also understand the fear from a parent's perspective, and saying, like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't want them to get hurt. They're going to blah, blah, blah. All these things. I understand that fear too, if you've never experienced a blind person. So you have to be a little more open and a little more and look at life a little more realistically to understand all sides of it, because I don't think it's fair to tell a parent,
get you a skateboard.
Let him go. Let him go.
Let him at a skateboard.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So I work with men. I already know some of the obvious questions. Okay, so if you were blind by 5 years old, we already know the most common questions got to come up from men. So did you start getting pretty much daredevil superpowers with your other sights or your other senses you have? Now, like, you can hear like a pin drop 2 miles away, and you can smell fire from, like, across the state. Like,
I always
super
say
senses, right?
I always say, I want to make it seem like, yes, that's true, and we are amazing, and we're these amazing human beings.
You're superhuman
with
now,
all
right?
these superpowers. But the thing I would like to say is that it's that we focus on it more. So it's not that anything is enhanced. I don't hear louder or smell more than you. But
you might.
I notice things more because
listen. Danny, you can't see it, but I got a lot of gray in this beard, man. So you might smell better than me and hear better for sure.
After COVID, I don't know about the smell, man. COVID took my smell away, my friend.
And you got like super taste and super hearing now, like.
Yeah, like I want to be a taste tester for restaurants and be like, nah, that's not it. This is not the one.
This needs more salt.
Exactly. Does anybody know the word seasoning in here?
I have super senses and I can't taste this. This is terrible.
Exactly. Absolutely.
No, it's actually a good point. And it's something like, if you're not watching somebody to wait for your turn to talk, it makes you a better listener.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Warrior, thank you so much for being a part of the information that we have. And you're part of our story as we are a part of yours. It's very much an honor to be able to connect with each other. If you want to know more or you want to get started with working with me or working with our warriors so that you can begin your path to authenticity, strength, leadership, and accountability, this is the way. Together, we are way stronger. Now you get to choose. Do you go forward or keep doing what you've always done? If you stay where you're at, hey, click on some of the stuff and follow what it is. We got motivational stuff. We've got podcasts. We got more things. Just subscribe and do the stuff and we'll keep you updated. But if you want to start going in, start jumping into what our programs offer and start your journey and being the hero in your own story.
Yeah, 1000%. And also, it's funny. I always credit being blind and radio.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a room doing a morning show with 3 other people and everybody's trying to get a word in edgewise, you have to know when to speak. And everything is word economy. Like, it's so funny the little things that radio teaches you that you can do in real life. Like word economy and being able to tell stories in a more engaging way. How can you shorten up this story but still give all the details possible? And I think that that's a really cool skill to have.
It is so hard to do. Like Andrea does this. She'll come in, our TikToks blow up and she's like, I got a question for you. And she'll ask me something that like I've written 2 chapters on and done 2-hour presentations for. And she's like, 3 minutes, go. She'll ask me like existential questions like, what's the meaning of, what's your purpose in life? And I'm like, oh, you want that in 3 minutes? Wait a second.
Yeah, I got to think about this.
Hold on. That was a 2-hour presentation I did. You want 3 minutes for that? Hold on. She's like, and you're live, go.
Condense it.
And I just took 30 seconds for the question. Go.
I feel like people like you who have put together presentations and books are really, really hate the chat GPT and all the AI stuff.
It's a tool, man. It's fascinating. It's probably going to be, a part of what kills all of us, the singularity. But as far as like, what does it do? It's amazing. Like it is amazing. So there's no question.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it's going to be a long time before it takes us out. We still need people to generate, to still give real life like it's not going to produce content as we grow, right? So there has to be people putting in that information.
But there is the AI stuff is going to be an issue soon. I think all that they're doing now, because like even I had to do it with my own books. Actually, I took my integrator is wonderful. Randy, who was messaging you, she's wonderful, and so she took some of my presentations I've done and just mapped out my voice. And now they can do like the audio books and stuff for my things.
Oh yeah,
with my voice, and I'm like, get out of here!
It's so crazy,
which is nutty. Well,
it's crazy.
I've seen multiple guys I know who are authors and podcasters and people who have done stuff like this, where they're like, yeah, I mapped my voice, and they're sending me voice messages, but it's like an AI sending their voice, and I'm like, pretty much all we just did was make it so when there's robots running around killing people like the Terminator, they're going to have our voices.
Well, I've always said that. I've always said, and call me a conspiracy theorist, but I'm afraid to send in my like spit sample to like Ancestry or 23andMe.
We're already screwed.
Because like I'm just thinking that They're gonna take my spit sample and put it in a robot. Now a robot's gonna have my glands, my voice.
Danny, have you ever been to the hospital before?
I have.
Well, then they already got all that stuff. You can't. They got everything, man. They already got everything. You're already on file.
Imagine if I said no. Like, I'm just so perfect. I never went to the hospital.
No, my mom does everything from our bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, she works for them. Yeah, so that's, listen, send in your spit sample at this point. They already got you. And, yeah, I mean, we're really not that hard to be able to map out, but it's cool to see the GPT stuff. I think it's cool. I think the scary thing, if you're going conspiracy style, somebody in here's like, fuck yes, finally somebody doing it. So like, yeah, the singularity is terrifying. All right, what's your take, man? You know enough about this. I hear you just at least making the light of it, but like, let's talk about some real shit then. All right, ChatGPT is coming in. You think that we're gonna have Arnold Schwarzenegger showing up? Who's going to be trying to like, listen, Skynet's online. It's going down for real.
How fire that would be? At least let me be in the fight so I can like be a real daredevil.
Can we
like real?
First off, we'll get you a red suit. That'd be awesome. All right, so real talk. Have you ever heard anybody who plays any games that would be like interacting with like AI? You ever heard anybody play of Call of Duty versus a computer or anything?
No, I haven't heard. I'm sure it's possible, but okay. I haven't heard of that.
Whenever anybody is playing against a computer, their accuracy they can do is insane. They've got drones that can shoot like 200 people headshots at one shot.
Holy mother!
Like we don't stand a chance. It wouldn't be like the Terminator where these robots just are shooting wildly and like the hero has every chance to duck and dive. No.
To try to
No. These computers.
That's true. That's true.
It's already like cheating. It's nonsense how fast the computers are on us. We would be smoked in 48 hours.
Oh yeah. I mean, this whole thing.
There's some jackass.
I mean, the fact that North Korea.
Well, there's a jackass building this in his garage right now who's going to be like, I'm the first one to make this thing. Once this thing becomes sentient and understands, I can gather every Google search ever done, and I can go through every fucked up text message that somebody's ever sent. It can mind map people quickly.
Oh yeah. And it's interesting. I knew something was real fucked up once I saw the news stories. ChatGPT had been out for like 3 months at this point, and all the news started coming out about how the U.S. government was sitting in meetings with OpenAI creators to figure out how to implement ChatGPT and AI and government stuff. So of course, come on, they're not using it for good.
No. Well, even more complicated is it is mapping out the way that we think and the questions that we ask and filling in the gaps because it can do Google on top of being able to answer what we already know. So I filled out full chapters, dropped that in and said, organize this, add in quotes, and it'll do that. It's pretty interesting stuff that it can do. So I was like, wow, it can just take what you've already written, reorganize it, put it in order, and then add in quotes that correspond with what you just wrote. I'm like,
it's so crazy.
I'm like, okay, this thing is definitely taking what we're making, but then also upgrading what we're making. It is possible to make it so like there's people, I guarantee you they've already done it. There are people who have already like put a bunch of stuff in Chat GPT and they're trying to publish this as their book. You can write a book.
Oh yeah. It's been happening.
It takes me like 2 years to write a book, and like because I'm doing like deep diving the research, understanding it, asking questions, challenging it to its core. And I got people who are like, yeah, I just typed in a question, gave it a parameter, and I'm publishing it in 2 weeks. And you're like,
now I'm publishing it up.
I don't know.
I know. Well, the biggest talk right now is, and it's actually ends up being really funny because I have a friend in radio. I've been following her career for many years. She's been getting so much press. I mean, she's been LA Times, London Times. She's been all over because she was one of the first faces and voices that they're doing AI radio programming with. Out in Portland on a station called Live 95.5. They're a top 40 station out there. Middays is going to be a hybrid between live Ashley Z and AI Ashley, with a program that was done by a company out in Cleveland called Future Media. They started something called Radio GPT, where they're literally allowing AI to control a radio show. And so it would come on the air with live weather updates because it's pulling it from the internet, live up to the minute news updates, and it reads it in the AI DJ's voice.
And that's not concerning?
And it's most definitely concerning. I mean, it's so weird, right? Being friends with somebody who's getting so much press about it, while the rest of the radio industry is just like, screw you, bitch.
Well,
like, how dare you?
It's interesting, though, because like it's going with the times, but it's no different than there's a video from Google where they show certain things. There's a lot of technology as it's advancing. I think there's, oh man, you and I are going in the weeds here in a second. Okay. So there's so much technology that's happening right now that's meant to be better for humankind. And it doesn't have to go capitalist or socialist. There's probably this really sweet spot in the middle. There's this like sweet area in the middle where like we can have capitalism because it's necessary, but we also should have some aspect of humanity to it where like, hey, if we are all prospering, let's help humanity prosper, not just the small amount of people be ultra wealthy. And so there is like this like balance that can be done there. But then it gets into like there's certain industries that our technology's killing, and it will kill, and it's meant to kill, and it's tough. But like there was a video with the Google Voice thing where it is so convincing that people can't tell that it's not a person, and so they had it where you would call into like a salon to like set up a hair appointment.
Oh yeah,
did you see that? Where like.
I saw this video, yes.
It was 10 out of 10 people could not tell it was an AI. It fooled everyone. Nobody could figure it out because
it's scary.
It would start doing it started doing those, and it throws people off. So it'd be like, is there any appointments at 5:00? And they'll go, nope, no appointments until then, but we have one at 2:00. And they're like, okay, yeah, let's do 2:00. All right, you're good. And it would do those like noises, like the and it would throw them off that wasn't a robot because it was like, your appointment is now at 1:30. We'll see you then.
You know, and for any companies, anybody who handles their IVR systems, for any companies listening to this, take out the stupid typing sound. As if we're waiting, as if the computer's type. It is the biggest insult to my intelligence. Like, we have AI literally looking up information, but you just put a little sound effect of you just. Come on, what are we doing?
Oh, did you just type at lightning speed for me? Thank you.
Right, exactly. Well, I wish the service was as quick as your stupid typing sound.
Oh my gosh.
We would actually get somewhere.
Yeah. How many times do you have to say actual person?
Yeah, right. Or you hit 0, you're just spamming 0. Hopefully it interrupts itself.
maybe it's American of us. Maybe it is. But you ever notice when you're talking to one of those like recording machines that we start speaking like somebody who's in another country, we start getting louder and speaking slower.
Like it's slow.
Customer service. Like we start doing that. Where is the bathroom? Like they didn't learn a different language. It doesn't matter if you speak slower.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's how people sometimes really ignorant people talk to us as blind people.
Really?
They
Why?
think we're deaf, so they're just like, "How are you?" And I'm
You're
just like,
super
you
hearing.
know, I can hear
I
you.
have super
Honestly, hello. Yeah, turn it down a second.
I heard you. I heard you before you woke up. Like I already heard you.
Yeah, exactly. I heard the thought before you even opened your mouth to ask it.
I knew when you were peeing this morning. I can hear everything. Like you
Yeah,
don't have
exactly.
to
That's so good. Yes, sir.
That's funny. Yeah, it's you got me on that one. Someone's trying to speak louder to the blind guy. That's so silly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised some of the questions we get and some of the reactions that we get. I mean,
hit me. I want to hear some of these. What do you got?
The questions like, of course, how do you have sex?
With my
That's
penis.
always a common one. Yeah, it's like who is having sex with the lights on, right? And like, oh, I got to investigate if I'm going to put it in the right hole. Oh, no one does that like, with vision.
I have sex with my penis. That's how I do it. How do you do it?
How do you have sex? I've started to get really disrespectful. So I start saying, "Do you have a mom or a sister I can demonstrate on?"
Okay, all right, that gets a little naughtier. Is there?
Yeah, it's something I get definitely. I get a little disrespectful. You know.
Well, I think you can make it a little more playful. Like, ask your mom.
Oh.
Do you want to?
I just. And sometimes, so many people get on me for that, right? They're like, you're not all right. You're not really being conducive to the blind community or whatever when you do that kind of stuff. But Danny. Some days I'm human.
Listen, hold on. This is where it gets funny. All right, let's just say you and I are interacting, and I ask a dumbass question like, "How do you have sex?" And you're like, "Well, ask your mom. She'll tell you." Like if you like have one of those retorts back to me, and I go, "Hey man, that's fucked up. I'm gonna kick your ass." Let's just put myself in a scenario here.
Yeah.
This is such a lose-lose for both ways. I'm going to lose already. I already lost. Okay. Let's say I'm like that guy and I just start beating your ass. Do you know how cool people will think if I beat up the blind guy? That's like beating up a dude in a wheelchair. Like, it's like, you're not fucking cool beating up the blind guy. You're a fucking maniac.
Well,
What's wrong with you? But let's go the other way. What happens if you daredevil that fool and you whoop his ass? You're like, you got beat up by a blind guy?
Yes.
It's like, ugh, there's no win. You can't win fucking with you. It's a hit. You'll lose no matter what. If you beat him up, you beat up a blind guy. And if you get beat up, you just got beat up by a blind guy. Like, you don't win. So, like, don't pick that fight. Just
and you lose the first scenario where everybody's like, yo, that's fucked up what you did. The first scenario is only by sighted people.
Right, that's true.
Blind people will not feel any sort of like, they're like, blind people will be like, yo, you should have fought better, bro. You should have beat his ass. Like, no. And that's where it's so funny because those are where the lines can be blurred on. Like,
wait a second,
you don't demean us and think we're less, right? Because you don't want to fight me. Because if you talk some shit and I throw some hands, don't run and be like, oh, the blind guy tried to fight me. I didn't want to feel bad.
I mean, yeah, okay, let's give it to you. All right, so like, if the blind guy wants to fight you, fight him. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying if you put yourself in a position to get your ass possibly beat by a blind guy, don't take it away from him using the he's blind excuse. That's all I'm saying.
Accept your ass whooping, please.
Yes. Yes.
Think about the morale
and
boost
trust me,
you give the blind guy. Think about how much better he'll feel about the rest of his life for fucking you up. Isn't that worth it? Just take your ass whooping like a man.
And you speak to men, right? You speak to a lot of men and everything. So you'll understand this. You'll understand this position. You'll also give that blind dude an opportunity to know what it's like to get his ass beat.
I think everybody should know.
Everybody
We
should.
should all know what this feels like.
Yes.
I think the world becomes a little nicer when we all know what it feels like to get your beak popped. I think that's the difference. Someone hits you right in the nose.
No, it's exactly it.
I think I'm going to talk a little less shit because I know what that feels like. So I think it'll make people a lot more diplomatic about things.
That's my thing. I think somebody who's gotten their ass whooped before is somebody who really respect. Look at the people who respect you the most. They've had some hard times, man.
Danny, I think I have the solution. I think I found the solution. All right.
Oh, this is going to be good.
So here's what we're going to do. You seem like a strong dude. You seem like you got some good size to you where you can put some power down. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make you responsible as the one who just gives everybody their one shot. Now, you won't know who it is. You won't be able to see. They're just going to say, you punch here. So they're not going to say, hey, this is Sally and this is John. You're not going to know who it is. You're just going to be like, give them their punch. You're going to be like, all right. Now, you don't know if this is a guy who's 6'5" and 300 or a girl who's 5'1" and a buck. You don't know who it is. You're just going to be like, all right, bam. And they're going to go, now you know what that feels like. And then the world is now a better place. You're a humanitarian by just giving everybody. But you're going to be truly unbiased because you can't see who it is. You don't know. You don't know. And then the world is like, now you got couples who are going to go and they're going to have their argument with each other, but they both know what it's like to get punched in the face. So they both chill out quite a bit.
Yes.
Everyone becomes a better listener because the blind guy will punch you in the face if you don't shut up. Like, you got to slow down.
Exactly.
You know he's indifferent. You know he throws full power on everybody.
You know, and it's so funny because that's a beautiful sound. And
boom!
Blind people have wrestled, right? It's a very common thing that blind people have done wrestling before.
Sure.
And one of the things that they tell you in wrestling as a blind person is stay on top of the person. Do not move, do not, and I think that if people were a little more honest and we're going to accept an ass whooping from the blind guy, possibly that they wouldn't move. But that's what a lot of sighted people know they have that advantage. Oh, I can just run around and have you chase me and you won't know where I am. And it's just like, no, again, like you said earlier, accept your ass whooping, bro. Like, you stay right here.
I have super hearing. You're not a ninja. I know where your feet are.
Yeah. I wish people thought of it like that and were logical.
That's very funny. Accept your ass whooping. Don't run around.
Yeah.
Feel free. Try and dodge this shit. See if you can.
And see if you can, baby. Yeah, that's it.
I like that. That's hilarious. That's so funny. The world would be a better place. It's an interesting thing though, but it has to be indifferent like that. It can't be something where like somebody is getting some sort of joy from knowing that they're hitting a certain type of person. It's just got to be, he can't see. He's just hitting everybody the same.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't reserve harder punches for those who have 20/20 vision opposed to those who have 20/70.
He's got nothing against gender, race, anything. He can't see anybody. He's just going full tilt on everyone.
Imagine if I reached up and felt if they have glasses first, and just because they have glasses on, you see a little less than the other person that I kicked their ass. I'm going to give you some leeway because you're blind like me. Imagine that.
Like, wait a second. Do you have glasses sympathy?
Yeah. Let me reach up. Sympathy glasses.
You have enough vision to have glasses. It makes me hate you more.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope this isn't your favorite pair. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you have insurance.
This is what I'm doing. This is what we're doing. We're gonna be like, all right, here's Danny coming in. He's just gonna walk in. It's gonna be like, he's gonna be smashing on people.
Bam!
That's your new call
No
sign.
cane needed, by the way.
He can feel himself around the room off of like the clapping sound from someone's face. And he's
exactly
sonar.
Yeah.
You're gonna walk in the room.
I can hear your aura.
He's gonna be like, and there's someone over here. He's like, oh, there we are. I can see the room now. There's a lot of people in here.
Imagine it's the same person. There's just one person in there, but they keep moving, trying to get away from me. But keep punching the same person.
They just start letting people know this is going to happen. And they're like, all right, now Danny's going to come in.
Right.
He's going to just punch you in the face. And then that way he knows kind of where he's at. And they're like, okay, all right. So you give me like $200 just for a punch in the face. It's like, you got it. Yep. You're going to let Danny,
you got it. It's all yours.
That's how Danny knows where he's at. Like, and they see you walk in and you don't look like a small guy. And so they're going to be like, oh no.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
Down they go.
They're like, yep, he's gonna wake
Can you just talk for a little bit so I can find where your face is? Just talk for him. Just say hi. I just want you to say hi to me. Just be cordial.
Daredevil don't play. That's what I just found out today. I found out that Danny the Daredevil
That's
doesn't
what
play
it
around.
is.
That's your new nickname.
Blind people want to kick ass too, man. Blind people want to kick ass too.
I'm changing your name in my phone. Your name is no longer Danny Romero, the Blind Guy Radio Podcast. It is now Daredevil Danny Romero. You are now the Daredevil.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Don't fuck with Danny. He will sonar punch you in the face. He'll see you.
1000%.
I love it. This is very funny, man. All right, so I've already decided we're gonna hang out more. So, all right.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
If you were to give some people like some hope here, yeah. All right, so like people are misconstruing like you have a disability or a disability, like you can't do things. What would your message be if you're gonna tell people like you could reach all my guys and you could tell them like, hey, listen. Here's what I want to be able to tell all the guys out there. Like, what would you be sharing? Like, this is the truth, guys. Here's the message that you need to know about blind community, about me, and this is, I want to set the record straight. What would be the number one thing you would share?
The number one thing I would share with individuals who were hearing one thing from me, and that is let my life experience dictate who I am and not my disability. Because I was the traveler in my family. Okay, it was me and my cousin. I lost my cousin to COVID. He was 32 years old. We were the travelers. He wasn't blind. I was the only blind person in my family. But I have been traveling on my own on airplanes around the country since I was 14 years old. How my mom let me do it, I don't fucking know, bro. I couldn't tell you. But she did, and it changed my life. And I have traveled more than a lot of people.
True.
I have seen more than a lot of people. And that's because I didn't stop myself. And I think those experiences put me higher than anything I could talk about my blindness.
Yeah.
I could talk about my blindness because I've lived with it, but talk to me about my experiences because that's how you'll really get to know who I am.
All right, so I'm with you on this one. I'm not judging you by your disability at all. I think you're a good dude. So on this one, it's funny that you said like you've seen a lot more places than more people. I'd almost have to be like, I think you've heard more places than most people. You've heard the tallest buildings. You've heard the biggest oceans. I have heard the most beautiful architecture. I have heard
exactly right.
I have heard the coolest statues.
Yeah.
I have heard the most beautiful paintings.
Yeah.
All right, I got one for you. All right, Danny. What's the sound of your favorite color?
I wish I could answer that. I wish I could answer that. You know,
everybody wants to know.
It's funny
what's the
because
blind guy's favorite color? What's it sound like?
So my favorite color, because here's the thing. Blind people who were born blind, and it's always interesting because I'm a little bit ignorant when it comes to that, because I can't fathom, even with the amount of blind people that I know who were born blind, they don't have any reference point for color. Luckily, I had a sight till the age of 5, so I saw color, so I can remember color and I can picture it in my mind, which I'm so grateful for, because you can't describe color.
Agreed.
But for people who were born blind, I am the same way as sighted people. I go, what? How do they really connect with a color uh, without knowing what it looks like? And psychologists have said that it's all based off of sound, and so you're not off with that. I mean, there is people attribute sound or color to sound. But if I were to give you my favorite color from what I remember seeing and loving at 4 years old, baby blue.
Baby blue. I got you.
I
Right.
Yeah, yeah, baby blue. Just that light, really like that blue that just stands out.
That's
And I just remember seeing like a 4x4, like a Jeep, when my mom was driving when I was like 4 years old, and for some reason that just stuck into my mind. And so that's always been my favorite color.
That's awesome. It's such a funny contradiction too, because I'll be like, dude, I just got you a baby blue shirt. I got you some baby blue shoes.
I know, right? Yeah.
Listen, I could get you any color. You'll be like, thanks, man. I love it.
Exactly.
It's a black shirt and it's a black shoes.
Yeah, imagine.
I'm like, it's beautiful baby blue.
Or the joke used to be, oh, hey, man, nice pink shirt. And you weren't wearing a pink shirt. It was like a red polo.
That was so funny.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Your mom give you a pink shirt? What's up with that, man? That's funny. That's so funny. People just mess with you.
Did your mom dress you?
What is that?
Oh, yeah.
Are you wearing flowers? What is this?
We actually did that. I was in Atlanta with a couple of friends, and we went out to see Ed Sheeran. And the guy, my friend had bought his or her husband a shirt that he really wanted with all the tour dates on it. Well, we had a friend with vision, and she goes, "Hey, man, nice shirt," not knowing that that he was wearing the shirt that she bought for him. He just thought that it was a shirt. It was a nice way to surprise a blind guy, right?
That's funny. Did he get like all like what the hell? Did he get like defensive on it, or did he?
Well, originally he thought it was a shirt for his wife. He thought he had taken his wife's shirt by accident. And he's like, I don't own an Ed Sheeran shirt. What are you talking about?
That is too funny.
And she's like, no, it's a surprise, you idiot.
That is too funny. That is so funny.
Yeah,
I love it, man. Listen, I gotta say, I like hanging with you, man. I got a couple guys. I got a lot of veterans, a lot of people who have been through some tough things. I got guys who were born with disabilities, and I gotta say, like, I have a good time. You guys, I agree with you very much. Don't treat me like a disability. I'm a regular dude, just like you guys. I like doing all the same stuff you do. I just have to do it differently. And like, I give you a lot of credit too, because like you are highly proficient. Here I am. Like, I even asked Andrea, I'm like, it says here that Danny's blind. I'm like trying to like text him links. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, how's he going to get on this thing? I don't know. She's like, I don't know. Just send it to him. They got ways to figure it out. I'm like, fair enough. And like, you're highly sufficient. Oh yeah. You're self-sufficient. You had no problems. So.
Yeah, I mean, we do it all here. Oh, I think you have to prove yourself, unfortunately, in a world, and luckily, there's not very many open people like you who are just like, all right, we're gonna wing it and see what the fuck happens. There's not a lot of people willing to do that. A lot of people are just like, I don't know, I'm not gonna really talk to this blind guy because I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. And so it takes two people to tango, right? Like, it takes me to prove myself to you, and you to be open to allowing to see my abilities. Because if you just shut my abilities down without knowing what I'm capable of, then you'll never be able to get to know myself or anyone who has a really interesting story or gets to live a really cool life.
Yeah. I think everybody should be like both of those people. We should all be challenged. We should all be challenged to see what we're good at, but we should all be open and accepting to see, well, what are they good at? like, and like, you're like, challenge my abilities. Let's see if I can do what I say I can do. And I caught your vibe very quickly. I'm like, oh, this guy's, you're good at what you do. I see you. Okay.
Thank you, man.
And then I'm like, this is just a good dude. Let's just hang out. Like, it's a good guy.
I like it, man. I'm really, I actually appreciate that you ended up being really cool and talkative. Most of the time, people with the name of your type of podcast is just some snooze NPR guy.
This is part of the beauty of the Warriors Way. Is that on one hand, I train people to be able to beat the hardest battles in our mind, and you've had to battle some tough stuff, doubt, fear. You have to battle multiple things that people just aren't able to understand. Even like you have on one hand, it's going to be more difficult because you can't see, but on the other hand, you'll probably have different sets of curses because you're not seeing the reactions or behaviors of others to mimic bad behavior. So like on one hand, disadvantage, other hand, huge advantage. You're not picking up shit habits. So that may be to your benefit. A lot of people actually watch body language a lot and get really offended or get really, really into their own insecurities because people have given them nasty looks. And you're like, I didn't see any of those. So I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So like,
it's nice.
Yeah, it works to your advantage.
It's nice. It's funny. It bothers the people around you more than it bothers you, right? Because you can't see it. Right. And so I just share this story with you quickly. One of my eyes is a prosthetic eye. I can take out my eye, and I do to clean it or whatever the case may be.
Tell me you got like cool decorative ones, like giant red ones or something.
No, I've had mine for a really long time. I need to get a newer one. I definitely want to get some shit. Shit.
Do you get it sized or something, or is it just a one size fits all?
Like you get it sized. You get it sized or whatever for your socket.
All right, bro. I listen. The resourcefulness that I have. Let us know what your eyeball size is, which is my favorite sentence of the day, by the way. This is my favorite sentence today. Let me know your eyeball size. I'll make some phone calls and get you some badass marble that looks so fucking cool that you will have the coolest fucked up eye ever. I
it should be awesome.
It would be one of those ones where like you have a dragon eye or something. It's going to be like some lizard looking eye. You're just going to look like just amazing.
It glows in the dark.
I'm going to get you one that's so bloodshot. Everyone's going to think you're just
it looks like I'm high as a bitch all the time.
You're so stoned all the time. You're like, dude, no, it's a prosthetic. And they're like, yeah, I'm sure it is.
That's really funny.
You're so stoned you went blind? Fuck. What are you smoking?
Bruh.
Listen, I've got the network. I promise you, I can get that done. Like, I'll call Phil.
All right, listen, I believe it.
I'll have you a new badass eye within 2 weeks.
Oh, that's so good. But I could take out my eye and there were several times where my mom told me to surprise some people who were looking at us, and she was getting really annoyed about it. One day I was walking out of middle school. She was picking me up. We're walking to her parked car, and there was this older Middle Eastern woman who was looking at me through her car and could not stop staring. I mean, you would have thought I was a celebrity the way she was craning her neck to watch me. And she just couldn't believe that a blind person existed. I mean, she just was shocked.
It's her first you're her first blind person.
My mom goes, just take out your eye. Now, at this point, I don't know what's going on. She's just like, take out your eye, quick. And I was like, why? She's like, just do it. And so I took it out, and that lady, her head turned so fast because she was creeped out. You would have thought her head was going to fall off her body. and she turned on her car and drove off. I mean, she moved parking spots, whatever, but she did not want to see that shit.
Listen, I'm gonna I don't listen. You tell me what the size of this eye is. I want you to be able to do stuff that's real fucked up, like pop it out and throw it at people. Like I want you to have like disposable ones. Like you got extras. Like you can just pop this thing out and whip it.
Let me tell you something. It would be a whole new thing to my brand, man. Blind radio guy. All my TikToks just start with a new eye. What eye do I have in today?
You're gonna have your tagline is gonna be like, "Hey, watch this, catch."
Yeah.
Then first off, it's watch this because you're gonna pop an eye out, and then second, or it's gonna be like, "Hey, I see you," and then catch, and then throw an eyeball at him.
Yeah.
Watch people
lose
their shit. People will be dodgeball masters.
We gotta play ping pong.
Yeah.
Just ping pong with an eye to sell it.
That is so fun.
Oh man, it's good stuff, man.
I love it, dude. All right, well, we're hanging again, so I'm glad that we got to do this.
Yeah.
All right, so I do a lot of like really badass shit, but this is also really refreshing too, and this is something my guys in the Warriors Way do appreciate. Is on one hand we can go into battle and fight really tough things, but when the battle's over, we're allowed to be boys. You know, you can make jokes and dog on each other and have a good time, and we all make fun of each other. Everybody does, and so like, you'd fit right in because like we can all kind of goof on each other for who we are, but it's not out of hate, it's out of love, and that's what makes it kind of fun.
Well, I've always said that I was hated because I grew up on comedy. I grew up on a lot of stand-up, and I listened to a lot of raunchy radio shows. There was a radio team back in the day by the name of Opie and Anthony. And Opie and Anthony were, O&A were very dirty guys and, shock jockery. But one of the things I loved about their show was that they brought in comedians who would sit in the studio for 4 hours of this radio show just shitting on each other and getting some of the hardest laughs on who can get the better line. And I just lived for that. I always wanted friends like that. And then whenever I would come and make a hard joke, everybody's just like, whoa, that was fucked up. And I was like, you guys just don't get it. Yeah. It's fine.
Hey, check this out. One of my coaches is jumping in. We got our leadership training right now. And so this is
Well, yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for having me on. Seriously,
Danny,
it's such a pleasure.
Hang out for a second. This is you'll love
Oh,
Ryan.
yeah.
He's a military vet. He was corrections officer. He's fantastic. He's
very nice.
Also one of my toughest warriors. So like,
how you doing?
Hey Ryan, this is Danny. Danny has a podcast.
Ryan, nice to meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet you as well. How you doing?
Danny.
I'm wonderful. Talking to this guy right here. He was interviewing me today.
Do the eye thing for Ryan.
Imagine.
I'm curious. Bring it.
It wouldn't phase him. I'm sure he's seen some shit.
Ryan's Ryan loves this shit. So
dude, nothing phases me. Let's go. Send it.
He's like, is it really creepy? Do it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
this is awesome. This is a scientific experiment.
Yeah, Danny went blind at 5 years old, and so he's got a podcast. He's on radio. He does a lot of stuff now. That's actually very cool. We've been hanging out for about an hour now, and he's been telling me some of the funny stuff with like the misconceptions for blind people. It's actually been like the most I've laughed already today, and that's like it's been a good time.
I'm glad, man.
And so Ryan,
I'm glad, fellas.
Ryan, I already know the obvious question. The question that everybody really needs answered, Danny. If you're blind, how do you have sex?
How do you wipe your ass?
With your hands.
I didn't get to that one. I didn't get to that joke.
Give me some more.
Joke. It's a legit question.
Okay.
People have asked me that before. How do you wipe your ass? Like what? What?
What do you say?
How do you wipe yours?
With your cat?
Right.
What do you say?
I tell them I hire prostitutes to clean it with their bare hands.
Dude,
That's what I tell them.
It's probably
There
the
you go.
cleanest job they've done for the day.
Yeah.
True.
They're like, after the hand jobs and
true,
blow jobs,
man.
listen, wiping ass is like, that's like the easiest one I've had today.
But yeah.
It's the only one that doesn't end with the word job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is true.
It's real, man. But no, those are always fun. How do you have sex? How do you wipe your ass? Who takes care of you? I always love that one. Who takes care of you? I've had Uber drivers ask me that when they pick me up from my apartment.
I just feel like there's so many
That I
opportunities for like, you. Wait, they didn't tell you? You're taking care of me. Like, I'm coming to your place. You didn't know? I can't go in this city alone.
Yeah, how dare you?
I'm on your
Assume that it's not you.
I'm on your dime now. It's you and me.
Yeah, and if you fuck it up, you're fucked.
There's a lot of liability here, man. There's a lot happening.
Clock's ticking.
I
Let's
hope
go.
you
Where
have
we going?
extra insurance, right? Yeah.
Danny, it has been awesome hanging with you. Let me know.
Man, such a pleasure, Rick. Seriously.
So if let me know when we can get together. If you want me to jump on one of your shows, it'd be an honor just to hang with you. Or if you just want to just come and hang out with the boys too, I think that you'd fit right in. Especially like we do advanced trainings and we do some pretty hardcore stuff. But also we have I think Ryan can attest. We get the work done, and then after we've done the work, it's like, all right, then we just goof around with each other and let the boys be boys.
Let's play.
I think that you like
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, work hard, play hard, you know?
Yeah, speaking of which, this is Ben
That's
Pearson.
it.
Ben Pearson was born with his spine detached. He's in a wheelchair. And so he's our resident
Wow.
other guy. And so he's actually practicing to do speeches. He's got a live speech coming up, which is actually pretty cool. So we're training him.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Speech. What's up, Ben?
Uh,
Dude, you got your Hakuna Matata shirt on. I wore that the other day, man. I same shirt. Just saying.
yeah.
It means no words.
Yep.
All right, hey Danny, what's your favorite movie?
Yeah. I'm not a movie guy, so I watch stupid movies.
What's your favorite movie to listen to?
Acid on Fire.
Too funny, dude. Awesome, man. It's such an honor. All right.
Yeah, man.
I was
Absolutely, brother.
I was already calling you and texting you. Just save my number. That's my direct number, and just reach out. And whenever you
All right,
wanna,
definitely will.
whenever you want to get together, let's do it. Okay.
Let's definitely do it, man. Yeah, thank you so much again for having me on. Seriously, it's such a pleasure.
Of course.
Appreciate you guys. You guys be safe.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you
brother.
too. Nice meeting you.
See you later.
Click on the button and you can become the hero in your own story. It's time to start making the choices to change. And the evolution that you're going to do begins with choosing the next step. This is the way. And together, we're always stronger.